the dogs out. What's up, everyone? Welcome to another episode of the Strength Classroom. Haven't heard that song in years. So, start of a new week. It's pretty much the same as last week, just some variables got changed around. So you're going to notice in this 6-week cycle, there's going to be much less moving around of assistance exercises and main exercises. Because everyone's like, oh, your workouts seem random. So like I said, I'm trying to do my best to film every single workout of this 6-week cycle, just so you guys can see how I progress on things. And it's not to say I'm always progressing using these methods, but it is options, things I have stored in the bank. So started off with some broad jumps, some high pulls, and I am getting better at doing the high pulls off low blocks like that. I'm so tempted, definitely not with this weight, but I'm so tempted to throw this fucking weight over my head. Even though I know it'll fucking go bad for sure, I just feel like explosive to the point where I have confidence in myself to throw it over my head. However, do I have the stability to hold the weight over my head? That's a different question, my friend. Look at that ass, bro. That ass is powerful, my friend. So, broad jumps were really good. I'm trying not to test myself on that because that's how I restrained my hip. I injured a pectineus muscle, which felt like an abdominal muscle, and I had to go through a tiny little bit of physio. They gave me some decent stretches. They worked on it a bit. I did also notice in the x-rays I took that the spacing of my left hip needs to open, and there's a tiny bit of arthritis. It's very, very mild, they said. It's just normal with aging. And he goes, the good news is the best way to deal with arthritis and build it up is heavy weight. And he goes, and you're already doing that, so it's easier to do it with someone that's on the younger side like you, that's kept in good shape and has stressed their skeletal system and all that stuff, because it's much harder to do that with a older person. And he told me something that blew my mind. When you're rehabbing, you have to rehab a joint with like 10% of the weight it takes to break the bone. How the hell are you supposed to do that with an old person? So I told him what I squatted and deadlifted and stuff like that, and he said, okay, that's more than enough weight to keep the joint healthy and strengthen it. You just have to make sure you're moving in the right direction. So I've been working a lot on internal and external hip rotation. It's just standard stretches that go a long way. And I'm doing 6 sets of 3 here. Here's my dynamic squats. So on my dynamic days, I've been doing the typical dynamic stuff where bands, chains, low reps, higher amount of sets, focusing on speed and explosiveness. But before then, I've been doing 1 to 2 exercises where it's closer to the velocity part of the curve, of the velocity speed curve. Believe that's what it's called. So this would be more so on the strength side because of the amount of weight and how fast I'm moving, and things like the jumps and the high pulls and the plyo push-ups and things like that. That'd be closer to the velocity side because the weight is lower and I'm moving faster. So that's why I don't feel the need to... I feel like I have the luxury to program my dynamic work at a higher weight than I normally would. Like if this was my main explosive exercise of the day, my only explosive exercise of the day, I would lower the weight so I'd be closer to the velocity side of the curve. So 6 sets of 3, they went very well. You don't want to rock off the box. I'm going to make a video of typical box squats mistakes, and I used to make a shit ton of them. So don't worry, if you're making some mistakes and feel like they're not for you, I'm here to save you. Then some front-loaded squats, the Zercher variation. Look at that powerful explosiveness. Almost lost it. Almost went over my head. Powerful stuff, my friend. So I took out like 2 cups of sand of my sandbag, and now I could squeeze it a lot easier. Before, it was like bursting at the seams, and it just felt like I was carrying an Atlas stone, which was really hard to hold. Because the whole thing about sandbags is you want to have it a little give. So you can notice my forearms are almost like cutting into the sandbag. So I did a set of 15, And then I did another set of 15, which I did not film, and here's a set of 10. And then next week, I'm going to try and do 2 sets of 20. So last week I did 3 sets of 12, which is 36 overall reps. This week I did 2 sets of 15, which is definitely more intense than 2 sets of 12. And even though on this last one I did a set of 10, the intensity goes down a bit, my legs were so pumped. So the RPE was definitely similar on all 3 sets. But my main goal of working out, I used to always just try and do so many sets, build up my work capacity, low rest, which is a good strategy. However, it can't be the only strategy you employ. After a while, you have to add a little bit of intensity or a lot of intensity. Low sets, closer to failure with higher amounts of reps. Just get closer to failure. You can't be so far from failure. You can't program so many sets into your workout and kind of sandbag your earlier sets. It's like, no, sometimes you just do 2 sets and go heavy on them. For example, I only did 2 sets of glute ham raises here, and I added the band. I did a set of 10. Once I was done with that, I tried to pump out 5 to 6 more reps. And I really like that band method as opposed to having a plate in front of you, because when you're vertical, the plate is really adding nothing just because of the direction of the pull, the way it's going down. So that's a really good strategy if you have the opportunity to hook the band up to something in front of you. Here's 205 pounds. I did 2 sets of 20. See, once again, I'm doing low amount of sets, but higher amount of reps. Plus, my workouts would be really long if I was doing a ton of sets of assistance work, because I am doing the high pulls, I am doing the broad jumps, and I'm doing the 2 squat variations. So you can only add so much reps, so much sets during certain parts of your workout. You can't add everything all at once. And then, I hate to sound like a broken record here, but 2 sets of 20 with these front rack kettlebell sit-ups. I'm so glad I'm able to do sit-ups. I do feel it in the pectineus muscle a bit, but it doesn't kill me. Just to put it into perspective, when I first injured it, maybe a month later, a bodyweight sit-up would feel like someone was stabbing me in the hip. Now, I just feel a dull contraction of the muscle. It's not a sharp pain. That lets me know I'm strengthening it. As long as I don't overdo it, as long as I keep going with my stretches, as long as I keep mobilizing it, rolling it out, keep up with the rehab, it should, knock on wood, be fine. So this was a great workout. Week 2 is off to a great start. Here's the breakdown for the workout. And as always, have yourself a great day, ladies and gentlemen.